They cranked the hell out of the evil editing for this elimination for Ji-yoon da amen. The icon is gone today. Hopefully the blur is enough to avoid copyright. Anyways, welcome to the recap and review of episode 2 of Iland 2. There will be no fandom recap today, also due to all the hype drama that's going on. I was unable to really see what the fandom was saying. However, if you have anything to share from your experiences on Iland SNS, feel free to share. Lastly, remember that the review, overall feelings, etc. are all my opinion. Feel free to share your own. As always, the episode starts with a recap and the overview of the rules. The show is split into 2 parts. The second part will be 12, etc. The episode starts with a couple play skips. We begin with the Iland girls eating breakfast, then the ground girls getting their name tags and playing games, and finally back to the Iland girls opening merch. This is when a countdown for the reveal of the next test appears. Once the timer ends, both groups of girls gather around and it's revealed the first mission will be the signal song. They're shown the dance demo, and once it finished, Ji-yoon begins to cry. She's crying due to happiness, and after the girls comfort her, it's revealed this test will determine who will be sent to the ground based on team scores. Team scores will be the average of the individual 12 scores. Based on the score they get, it determines how may get eliminated, sent to the ground. For example, 95 or above will only have 1 elimination, 75 or below will have 6, and everything in between will have a variation. The ground members are given similar rules, but in their case they need to wait for an island trainee to be eliminated for someone to move up. Back in Iland, we start the position choosing process. All girls will have their position chosen by the leader, in this case Choi Jung-gun. Jung-gun is giving an hour before deciding, but she already says she wants to give the center and main dancer to Juwon and Sujing. Some trainees are a bit upset that they didn't get to vouch for themselves. On the other hand, Fuko is worried if she'd be able to pull the song off. We then cut the ground, where, unlike Iland, they get to choose their leader. Through a short meeting, Yuju is chosen as the leader and the girls start showcasing parts they want. Yuju is chosen as the leader, Jiwon is main vocal, Minsol is main dancer. Chaeyoon and Lingling then try out for part 7. While Chaeyoon struggles hitting the notes, she demonstrated a kick. This is a part of the choreo and is given the part. Back in Iland, Sorong tried pitching herself to Jung-gun. However, this doesn't really appear to help, and Juwon also includes that she has a variety of tones. Once the timer ends, Jingyoon goes to finalize her choices. Then the positions are revealed with Ji-yoon as main vocal, Sujing as main dancer, Jingyoon as center, and the rest of the members are shown in a flash, with Juwon getting emphasis with part 9. Sarang is also put on focus due to her receiving part 10. It is then revealed that the test will be taken in 7 days and the countdown begins. Then we cut back to the ground. The girls have begun practicing, with Yuju feeling worried that the girls aren't learning quickly enough. There's then a couple of jump cuts, showing the Iland girls practicing in groups of 6 and being able to learn quickly. The girls wrap up the day with vlogging, sharing their worries, etc., and then we cut to the next day back at the ground. We get a similar training montage, with the ground girls struggling, the Iland girls doing well, etc. This is when Iland turns red and begins glitching. The girls are then asked to get on the Meta Ball elevator and the exit Iland. The girls are transported to the stage and they begin the midpoint check. The mid-check doesn't go really well and they make mistakes. The judges also critique the part distributions and dance timing. With that, it jumps to the girls deciding the part redistribution. It gets tense before the new center is decided, but we cut to the ground midpoint check before they decide. Their check begins really good, but as it goes on it gets worse and worse. I think Yuju has been pushed the most in this episode, but I'm not mad about it. With the midpoint only, she's really impressed me and I think she climbed a bit in my personal picks. After the check concluded, Monica, I think, says she believes Chaeyoon, Yoon, Lingling, Yoonchi, Jiwon were the ones who brought the performance down. The G girls get back to practicing and seem to have improved a lot based on the critiques. They even changed choreo to better fit members' talents. However, during one of the practices, Yoon suddenly collapsed. Turns out she sprained her ankle and has to sit out for a while. She then says she's worried she might have ruined the performance due to her not being able to participate for the moment. It then cuts back to the Iland girls re-choosing parts. The girls then start showcasing for the center part. Jimin goes first, then Juwon, Jiyoon and finally Sarong. After discussing, the center is ultimately given to Juwon. The rest of the parts are distributing and Coco gets part 9 after a short audition, and as the parts fill up, Jiyoon becomes more upset for valid reasons. Ultimately it is between Ji-yoon and my 4, position 11, however Ji-yoon gives up the spot and take 12 instead. Jang-yoon still has the final decision and ultimately Ju-won takes center, Jang-yoon main vocal, Soo-jin keeps dancer etc. but Ji-yoon is given 11th and Mai is given 12th. Mai is rightfully upset, but she presents it outwardly really well and is determined to fill her part. Ji-yoon however takes it a bit harder and struggles during practice due to unmotivation. Of course her feelings are 100% valid, but it's like, okay girl, let's get our head back into the game, let's get this done. Jang-yoon then decides to talk to Ji-yoon after practice, and luckily Ji-yoon is set after that and is able to focus again. Ji-yoon apologizes to her group and they begin practicing again. This also when it turns out Fuko got like super sick during rehearsals. After a couple more montages the final performance finally starts. I personally liked it despite its couple mistakes. The only mistake I could say was like actually damaging was the untied shoelace at the beginning. But even then I think Ju-won made up for it with the rest of the performance. The members I think stood out the most are Jang-yoon, Sarong, Ju-won and maybe Fuko, but that's cause I'm biased. I guess the judges don't agree with me cause they actually critique Sarong and a couple of others a bit for only doing their part. Ji-yoon also received critiques for looking uncomfortable, and during the private meetings, Jimin and Mai get praised for their stage presence. Jang-yoon is also praised for her vocals. The individual scores are revealed anonymously first, with 2 people scoring a 75, the overall score is 84 so 3 trainees will be sent to the ground. The girl with the highest scores will have immunity. The top 3 contenders are Jang-yoon, Ju-won, and Jimin. Jang-yoon ranked first again and gains immunity. Sing Jang-yoon got the highest score, she was also the center for the music video. The girls then have to vote for 3 girls they want to stay. This will decide who is eliminated. However, once the girls go into the voting room they get to see their individual score. While many got decent scores, Yui, CB, and Fuko and Juri scored the lowest, with Yui and Fuko at 75 and CB at 79. I know I said I thought Fuko stood out to me the most, but I think it's understandable that she got this score, especially since she was apparently really sick for most of the arranged practices despite having the same part. The members that are safe are Jang-yoon, Mai with 7 votes, Soo-jin with 7 votes, Jimin with 6 votes, CB with 4 votes, then Coco, Yui, Ju-won with 2 votes, and the last survivor isn't shown until after the ground. Then the ground begins their performance. I feel I really liked it. Was it better than the other one? Not really, but I stood up at some parts I got. Yeju obviously stood out the most to me, but like the judges said Seoul did really good as well. After a couple of critiques the 3 new island trainees are chosen. They are Yeju, Seoul, and Minsol. After the new members join island the rest go back to the ground. The eliminated trainees are Juri, Ji-yoon and Fuko. They cranked the hell out of the evil editing for this elimination for Ji-yoon Damen. I personally don't think her feelings are unjustified, but it's also like, okay, we can be pissed now, but next round let's lock in to get stuff done. But I don't blame her, I probably would have been worse. The episode ends with a spoiler for next week, Grounder vs Grounder where one team goes to island, and Islander vs Islander where one team goes to the ground. Next week is also a permanent elimination. Okay guys, this episode was low-key really good. A huge step up from the last one for sure. I think the pacing was very well done. Alongside the editing tactics etc., the storylines were all very well built up. Of course the evil editing was unnecessary. What are your thoughts of this episode? And who are your top picks? Here are mine. Low-key not a single one is really set in stone, this is just a very vague list.